Can you put out a pre-emergent herbicide, you follow the label instructions, you get it out correctly, you water it in, and you actually do it perfectly, and then not get the control that you think you're going to get, or at least says that the product would do? Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you why. This is not a thing to be alarmed about, but there is a lot, and I've seen both online and comments and people reaching out to me, of why the pre-emergent is not performing the way that it should, or it even did in the past. I've had a number of people tell me that. I'm going to explain why that is in this video. I'm going to explain what to do about it. And I'm going to give you some pointers of how to put together a program. When I was golf course superintendent, I used to put an agronomic plan for the whole golf course for the year, where I'd compare prices and see new products coming out, maybe try them, or maybe get some inputs from a colleague or something of that nature. I'd always put a plan together. So we're going to talk a little bit about a weed control program for your yard in this video. Now, what's going on? The primary pre-emergent herbicides are prodiamine, diclopyr, and pendimethalin. Pendimethalin you'll see in Scott's Halts. Prodiamine is Barricade. There's a lot of prodiamine products out there. And diclopyr is also Dimension. You will see pretty much, I think, all three of those products on a granular fertilizer, for example, the weed and feed that typically folks put out in the spring, and you'll see that. Here's the problem. You need to understand how all pesticides work, particularly herbicides and fungicides, resistance management. You'll see on herbicide labels, both pre and post-emergent herbicides, they say switch to a different group of herbicides. Don't use the same one over and over and over again. Here's specifically the issue with pre-emergent herbicides. The three I mentioned. Prodiamine is a group 3 herbicide. Pendimethalin is a group 3 herbicide. Diclopyr is a group 3 herbicide. They have categorized pesticides into groups. That is the mode of action that they take on the target pest, pathogen, weed, whatever you want to call it. So when you're using Barricade, for example, and then you go out with a diclopyr/Dimension product, they are 2 different herbicides. They have different labels. In fact, diclopyr, believe it or not, has a little bit of post-emergent activity in it. So there's some differences. However, they are both group 3 herbicides. So if you continue to use them over and over and over again, and those are the top 3, you're eventually going to get weed resistance. And you need to switch to another herbicide. This is why a spectacle flow, for you guys who are warm season grasses only, it is a group 29 herbicide, I believe. It is a different group herbicide. And it is a new pre-emergent herbicide on the market. I think it came out mid-2000s, hasn't been out very long, might even been maybe mid-2010s. It has not developed resistance yet. So eventually it will.
Can you smell what I'm cooking?
There's also another one called Simazine. It is a group 5. I have not used Simazine. I've not used Spectacle Flow either, by the way. But Simazine is one that's been around for quite some time. It is a pre-emergent herbicide. It is for warm season grasses only. I recall it being a topic of conversation, particularly when I was at NC State, about being able to move readily in soils and compared to the other pre-emergent herbicides, which pretty much stays on the soil surface. Simazine is not necessarily my cup of tea. It is a very inexpensive pre-emergent herbicide and is an option. I'm just giving you options. I don't have Simazine on my Amazon storefront. Like I said, I'm not that familiar with it enough to say offer up to you, particularly you warm season grass guys. Yet another option, instead of going with the Spectacle Flow, which is ridiculously expensive. And the problem is, it's not Spectacle Flow is expensive. It's actually, and I talk about this in every single video I do, I'm talking about herbicides, fungicides, even fertilizers. It really comes down to your cost per area. And I do that calculation for you. And I've actually done it on my Amazon store for a lot of products that I have on there. There's really 2 factors that when I look at a product, well, actually 3. 1, if I've used it before. 2, what's your cost per area? And 3, is it a quality product? Your cost per area on Spectacle Flow is extremely low, but it only comes in, I think it comes in a gallon. It might even come in a half-gallon container. The problem is it only goes out like a 1/4 ounce per 1,000 square feet. And in fact, that's high. I think it's 0.21 ounces per 1,000 square feet. You get cool season grass guys. Group 3 is the only game in town. Prodiamine, pendimethalin, and diclopyr. That's about it. However, The good thing is you guys do not have nearly the weed pressure as they do down south because they're dealing with warmer weather, longer summers. But this seems to be getting worse. As the decades go on and things get warmer further north, this is going to continue to be a bigger problem. Let's get into how to solve this problem. And when I had Bermudagrass golf courses, and I put this in the video for Bermudagrass with glyphosate.
What the hell is
Glyphosate is a group 9 post-emergent, the broad spectrum, post-emergent herbicide. So I was using group 3s, diclofenac, prodiamine, but then I was following up with that glyphosate application with a group 9. So I was using 2 groups of herbicides to control the weeds that I had. You do that, the likelihood of getting weed resistance is very small. So really, at the end of the day, how to fix this in your yard, warm or cool season grasses, just simply have in your arsenal, if you will, about weeds, a good pre-emergent herbicide that you have used, okay? And also get, and this is where I do on my Amazon storefront, I've done this in my post-emergent herbicides videos, have one herbicide at least. You know, there's no sense in having 3 or 4 different herbicides in your garage. It's, you know, just, you got to store it. It goes bad after about 3 years. If it freezes, a lot of them are just done. So if you guys have a garage that freezes, particularly you northern folks, you got to keep it above freezing. It won't work. There's no need to keep that much herbicide around. So always have one that pretty much I can put out, takes care of everything. It's there if I need it. What are the first? Let's talk about early season. Glyphosate application on dormant Bermuda. Zoysiagrass guys and Centipede grass guys. You got to be a little careful, particularly Centipede. An early season control is because you guys are in dormancy. You really need to be treating whenever you're in full dormancy or wherever you're full green up. I would not treat anything in that transition. The reason why, if you put a herbicide out during that transition, is you are likely to damage the grass. It's at a weakened state. Let it wake up, so we can go ahead and handle whatever herbicide you put out. Okay, let's get into these broad spectrum control herbicides. First one is Sublime. This is my jug. I've used it last year. Really like it. It is for ryegrass, bluegrass, tall fescue. You can also put it on Zoysiagrass. There again, Zoysiagrass, do it after it's greened up. It controls with mesotrione, is the grassy weed control. That also controls some broadleaf weeds, but it also has triclopyr and dicamba, which has a very broad spectrum control of broadleaf weeds. It also suppresses poa annua. It'll also suppress Bermudagrass. So use Zoysiagrass guys, or there is some Bermudagrass, particularly common Bermudagrass, starting to creep up further north. Now things are getting a little bit warmer up north. You can put it out. Also with Sublime, if it's above 50 degrees, and that's not, it's 50 degrees and it goes down to 19, it stays at 19 for 3 days. It's got to be above 50 degrees for about a week, maybe 10 days coming out of winter for you to really put this out to be effective. In addition, you'll see on the label, it requires a non-ionic surfactant. I talked to a lot of vendors over the suppliers over the winter to put my Amazon storefront together. Really, the non-ionic surfactant is more for summer grassy weeds than it is anything else. So if you're putting it out, it may help you a little bit with poa annua control, but their technical advisor that I talked to says you could probably get by without using non-ionic surfactant. They're seeing really good control in the greenhouse and in studies. However, in the, for lack of a better word, real world, there's not a whole heck of a lot of difference if you forego the non-ionic surfactant. Okay, how to put it out. On these Ortho Dial and Sprays, you have 1 ounce, 1.5, 2 ounces, clear goes clear up to 8. There's various rates on this dial. What that is the rate. That's how much is coming out of this container for every gallon that comes out of that sprayer. For what you need to do on the majority of pesticides, with the exception of insecticides, is you need to have at least a gallon per 1,000 square feet going out. Some insecticides, you read the label, you actually have to have more than that. So anyway, you get a gallon per 1,000 square feet. You get tablespoons, which is a 1/2 ounce, okay, for every gallon that comes out of here. You have teaspoons, which is 0.16 ounces for every gallon that comes out of here. So what you would need to do on this one, you would need to put it on 4 teaspoons. That is actually 0.64 ounces per 1,000. I said the max rate was 0.73. If you simply walked a little slower, it took me 29, if it took me 29 seconds to walk 200 feet, I'd just walk a little slower and get my pace down to where I was probably taking 32 seconds to walk that 200 feet. So that's where I would get it in. Really, at the end of the day, you would probably, what I have seen, my experience has been, if you're plus or minus 10% on an application, you're usually going to get a good control. So I wouldn't sweat that too much, but that would get you pretty close with just an Ortho Dial and Spray. These things will save you. You don't have to go out and buy a backpack spray or anything else, and you can put concentrates out with this really easy, and these things are accurate.
Dead on, balls, accurate.
Okay, the second herbicide is Speed Zone. It actually has 4 active ingredients in it. This primarily is for broadleaf weed control. The reason why I'm giving you guys this, there again, Bermudagrass, Zoysiagrass, tall fescue, ryegrass, bluegrass. And you can actually put it on fine fescue too. The reason why I'm giving you this one is it goes very well in cooler temperatures. So if you want to get out early, this does a very good job with cool temperatures. You get almost immediate results out of it with like a day or two. It actually controls goosegrass and nimblewill too during the summer. It doesn't do anything on crabgrass. So if you're looking for something with crabgrass, probably go with the Sublime product. Or something. Stick with me, Bermudagrass and St. Augustine. I'll be with you in a second. The thing about Speed Zone, you can seed 7 days after you've applied it. That's the one thing I like about it. Now, if you want to, with an Ortho Dial and Spray, this goes out at a max on cool season grasses, 1.8 ounces per 1,000 square feet. That is a max. Only read the labels. I'm doing these off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And on Zoysia and Bermudagrass, it's 1.1. Okay? So if you guys put it in the jug, you go out at, there's 1.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Okay, that'll cover your cool season grass guys. You warm season grass guys, you'll go down to 1 ounce. I've talked about my Amazon storefront, and what I have done, I have talked to manufacturers, and I went through Amazon soup to nuts, looking for things that I have used over the last 35 years of being in golf course maintenance, and put together at least a list that you guys can use that will kind of help you sort through a lot of the marketing nonsense that you run into. And, you know, while you're out at your hardware stores or wherever you're at, maybe you can take a look at that, compare and shop a little bit. Look, I'm here to help you. And if if that simplifies things and simplifies your life and puts you on the target to where you can look at your yard and go, and at the end of the day, that's why I got into being a golf course superintendent. I want to be able to look at something that I've done and say, hey, I've done that, looks good, I'm happy with it. And that's where I want, really, I'm here to help you guys to get you to that point, because I get that. So if you click on the link, it will take you to my Amazon storefront. Then you can go to my ideas list. There's also some videos on there about specific products that I put on Amazon that I, telling folks about them. But anyway, you can go to the ideas list. I have sprayers, fertilizer, pre-emergent herbicides, post-emergent herbicides. I have just about a little bit of everything in the world that you could possibly need for your yard. You can use it for comparative shopping reasons. In addition, if you would, YouTube really wants engagement in your videos. And doesn't matter if it's complete total garbage advice or somebody that knows what they're doing, they want engagement. The more comments, the more likes a particular video gets, the more they're going to suggest it to people. If this video has helped you, help other people and spread the word. Please leave a like in it and leave a comment. Let me know what grass you have, because I am interested, so I can make more specific videos. Tell me something you've learned. A question that you have, please answer or ask me a question. I'll usually get an answer within a day or two to you, at least. And anything you would possibly think of that you would like to see on my channel, let me know and I'll try to address it. I'm really interested in helping you. I really don't give a shit about growing some big YouTube thing or anything else or becoming viral or being some personality. I'm near retirement. And I enjoy doing this, and if I can help somebody else. As far as warm season grass guys, there again, I cautioned you going out. Speed Zone, you can actually put it on dormant Zoysia and Bermuda. But the best thing for you guys to do is chill and just wait until everything gets greened up, because what you can do is you can go out with a product called Celsius. I used this last year. It comes in a 0.22 ounce packet. It goes out at 0.113 ounces per 1,000 square feet. That's a max rate. So basically each packet does about 2,000 square feet. It is fairly inexpensive. This, I've seen other guys on YouTube recommend it in the 10 ounce container. That's more than what you would ever really need. You can get these little packs on my Amazon storefront. Try to remember, if you can buy them sometime in February, they're trying to get rid of the previous year's inventory, and they're often on sale. So if you guys are watching this late February after I release it into March, sometimes you can pick up deals on herbicides. Really, a lot of fertilizer products. Go into Lowe's, by the way. You can get deals there, just crazy deals on fertilizers they're trying to dump off. And if you know what you want and know what you're getting, they'll work pretty well. Anyway, as far as Celsius, you could, okay, put that out with an Ortho Dial and Spray. However, I would stick with a backpack on that. And the reason being is it only goes out 0.113 ounces per 1,000 square feet, and you could go, these are mostly for liquid concentrates. Conceivably, you could go ahead and put this, let's say you have an 8,000 square foot yard, and you could put maybe 9 ounces in here, because the other thing you've got to be aware of when you're filling this up, two things. One, you could go ahead and put a colorant in here. What that will do, I actually got this off Lawn Doc. I think it's, or the Lawn Doctor, I think, or something. I watched these videos. He had a good idea. Put a little colorant in here. I actually did put the colorant in the calibration video. And that will make sure when you see the water coming out of here, it's colored and you know you're getting your herbicide coming out. The problem is when you get near the end, you have the herbicide here, and if it gets way down, if it gets too low, it won't get up in the, and that's why I always put your forward, put the little hose forward, so that way you can kind of lean it down and you can be sure to get all of it in there. That's the tricky part, putting out any type of wettable powder or anything else, because you're actually having to put more in there in order to make it. Because what you could do, you could go ahead and fill this up. Let's say you were putting out 8,000, you were treating an 8,000 square foot yard. You would then put, what do we got, 4 packets in here. Okay, basically 2 packets, or 1 packet does 2,000 square feet. So an 8,000 square foot yard, you put 4 packets in here. Put probably, conceivably, 8 ounces in here. Shake it up real good, and off you went. That would work at 1 ounce per 1,000, because there again, you're taking 8 ounces of that mixture and taking it out. The problem is, once we got down too low, you'd almost have to put 9 ounces in there, which would give you a little bit lighter of a rate. Probably get away with it. And Celsius is a very safe product on warm season grasses. I actually saw a blog or post or whatever. Guy misread the label and put 1.13 ounces per 1,000 square feet out, and it did yellow up his yard. He had some chlorosis, is what we call it, but it did recover. Probably in Bermudagrass. It's hard to kill Bermudagrass. It's like the living dead. Okay, I always try to give options for guys who don't want to deal with a dial and spray, don't want to deal with concentrates, and just want the hose end sprayer, and it's set and forget, and off you go. And that is this weed stop for lawns with crabgrass killer. You can use this on any grass except Centipede and St. Augustine. You guys are pretty much stuck on the Celsius product. There's also atrazine. If you guys want to go out with Centipede and St. Augustine, I actually have atrazine on my storefront, I think in a granular. So it's a little exotic with Centipede and St. Augustine. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, this is a really good product. It also does, because it's got sulfentrazone in it, it also does nutsedge. This will pretty much take care of about anything in your yard. It has quinaclorac in it. Quinaclorac, you need to understand, and I get this every year, it's kind of funny. Somebody will say, oh God, it works so great in June, and then somebody go out in mid-July and put it out, and it doesn't work worth a darn. What happens with quinaclorac, and that is the actual grassy weed control in this, it will only control old or young crabgrass. It will not touch or it has limited control, and I would go as far as to say it will not touch middle-aged crabgrass. So that's why you've got to get it out prior to probably July 1st, and then you could put it out again. This will be effective on crabgrass if you need it for crabgrass after August 15th. Okay, some final things. One, the taller you mow your grass, the less weeds you're going to have. If you go out and look, let's say in a park where they're not treating with a pre-emergent herbicide, and you look underneath the shade tree at how much crabgrass there is, let's say you do this in late July, between the shaded area and the sunny area, you will see almost no crabgrass. And the reason being is if the sun hits the soil, you are going to get, particularly during the summer, you're going to get germination or at least more weed pressure. If you mow your grass a little taller, that's going to take your weed pressure down significantly. These guys that scalp their yard and believe it or not, burn Bermudagrass.
White people are crazy.
I'm a Facebook member of this crazy ass group of Bermuda lawn dominators or something like that. And it's really interesting because there are some very knowledgeable guys on there, but there are some crazy people on there that do some wild stuff to Bermudagrass, and it's just total nonsense. But anyway, it just is, and I can prove it. Anyway, so, and I did a scalping video and a thatch video. If you want to get through the nonsense, I cut through a lot of the crap that's out there in these chat rooms, and some of it, yeah, on YouTube too. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do with this channel. So you want to mow your grass taller so that way there's less weed pressure. In addition to mowing, you do not want to mow 2 days before or 2 days after you have applied a herbicide. 2 days before, because you want the most leaf blade on that weed exposed as possible, so it hits, the herbicide gets on the leaf blade and it's soaking by it. And then if you do not mow 2 days after, it will sit there for 2 days and it will be absorbed by the plant. That's where a lot of people fail, because they think, well, I'll mow the yard, then I'll spray. Well, it's not a very good way to do it. You really need to wait. So that's very true too. Also, when you're putting out early and it's cold, you're not going to get the quick reaction. Now, just be aware of that. I know the speed zone says it's, on the label it says 24 hours. Well, if it's cold, if it's down that 50 degrees, it's going to be a few days. It will eventually work. You just got to be patient with this stuff. And I tell you, timing is everything when you're talking about anything with dealing with any type of turfgrass management. Timing of your fertilizer, timing of your pre-emergent, timing of your fungicide applications. If timing can save you a lot of time, money, and turf. So if that's huge. So anyway, I'm agronomist Greg Phillips. If this has helped you, please like and subscribe and comment, and good luck.